Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining Mystic Fitness once again for another live virtual yoga class. So this morning we are live on our Instagram page and Facebook. So if you have any family members that are looking for some free yoga classes, you can send them our way. Send them to Mystic Fitness Instagram or Facebook. We're live every morning at 9 a.m. And all of our videos are then archived on our Facebook page. We also have a couple videos on our Instagram page, but Instagram will only let you upload for exactly 60 minutes. And sometimes our classes go a minute or two over. We're also uploading all of our videos to our YouTube channel, which is Mystic Fitness on YouTube. So that's a great way to kind of watch these videos at another time if you can't catch the live streams. It's also a really great way to, if you have family members that don't like to use social media, if they don't have a Facebook or an Instagram, you can send them our YouTube link and they'll be able to access all of our content without having to have a profile, which is great. A lot of people don't like having a social media presence. So that's kind of our thought process behind our YouTube channel. We want to get as many subscribers and as many thumbs up as we can. That's kind of the thing with social media is we got to keep our communications open, keep our connections strong. And then, of course, if you guys are in a financial situation where you feel inclined to make a donation to Mystic Fitness, it is greatly appreciated, but in no way necessary to enjoy these classes. Part of your donation is receiving one of these wonderful masks. And if you are saying to yourself, well, I've already made a donation and I already have my mask, but I'd like to make another donation, maybe you give a mask to a loved one and you can send it to them or even donate it to a cause near you or grocery store near you or anything like that. And I know Mary Beth has been hard at work making all of these masks to provide our community with. So, good morning, everybody. I'm loving seeing all of your feedback. Good morning, Constantina. We got Marty and Barbara, Charlie, and Pinal. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So, if you're just tuning in right now, you're just on time, go ahead and find a comfortable position on your mat if you'd like to stay seated. If you really are looking to go ahead and lay down, you can lay down on your backs as we find our breath work. Take a full breath in and sigh it away. Again, inhale and sigh. Allowing yourself to come into a natural breath. On a rainy day like this, I'm often reminded that if I look outside my window, I will see rain and I'll see clouds. But if I continue bringing my vision up through the clouds, sometimes you might see just a little hint of the sun behind the rain. I'm using this metaphor and understanding that the weather doesn't dictate if the sun shines or not. And just like the weather of the mind, sometimes there might be rain or fog. But somewhere, you might have to look really hard The sun is still shining away. Even on the days where it's a big storm, the clouds are so thick you can't even see the sun, you can't even tell it's there. But we know in our heart that if you go far enough up into the clouds, eventually you break through them and find that sun once again, glowing and warm. There's peace within this thought and this knowing and this truth. And taking another deep breath in and letting it go. Again, inhale and exhale. Slowly start to reawaken through the senses once again, wiggling the toes and fingers, maybe rocking the head from side to side. Bringing the hands together and rubbing them, waking up the nerve endings in the hands and creating a little warmth in the palms. And taking those hands and placing them over your heart, over your chest. Reestablishing this connection to your heart. And tapping into that sun, that warmth within you. We'll begin our practice with the sound of Om, beginning with a cleansing breath in and out. And for Om. Have a wonderful class. We'll go ahead and get started in a seated position this morning. So you want to just bring yourself there if you're not there. It might be nice to take a block underneath the sacrum or pillow for a little bit of cushion, bringing the hips up a little bit. Let's start by inhale, circle, sweeping the arms up towards the sky and bringing the hands to the heart. Let's find 3 more like this. Inhale, circle, sweep up. Maybe the gaze follows. And exhale, hands to heart. 2 more big sweeps. And pull that energy towards the center of the body. This time, inhale, visualize those big sun rays on your hands. And then pulling that warmth right through the center. Take a deep breath here. And let it go. Interlace the hands and start to rotate the wrist a couple times. You can do this in all directions. I see a bunch of you are watching this morning, so I have to say thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys are enjoying this class so far. Let's go ahead and release our hands, come into goalpost arms, and then just shake those wrists out a little bit. Just getting rid of any last little bits of tension there. All right, Finding some shoulder circles here as you roll the shoulders up and away from the ears, unwinding that connective tissue within the upper back and chest. And take that in the opposite direction. So the reason why we get into our wrists and shoulders at the beginning of our class is because we do end up putting some weight into our upper body in our downward dog and plank and table pose. Go ahead and release out of that. Let your shoulders pull away from the ears. And then we'll bring our fingertips towards the ground. Keep the left fingertips on the ground and take that right arm over left ear. So we're just starting here, and then we're just going to provide a little bit of weight and kind of open up through our neck here as you drop the right ear over towards right elbow. And we're using that right hand to just place just a slight amount of pressure to keep this open. It might feel nice here to kind of rock that left fingertips forward and backward. It might feel nice to rotate the head and let the nose kind of point up towards the sky and then point down. So we're really getting into our neck here. Go ahead and release, and then just rock the head left and right just a couple times. Notice the difference between the left side and the right side. And then we'll bring those right fingertips to the ground. Take that left arm up and over, touching on your right ear. And then making that slow transition of gently dropping that left ear over towards left shoulder. So having those right fingertips on the ground, we're lengthening that right side body, providing yourself with just enough movement here, pointing the nose up and down, and maybe kind of swinging that right arm like a ticking clock, just back and forth. And just noticing the subtle sensations and how this changes with movement. Go ahead and release, and then bring the pinky edge of your hands and place them right where your neck and head meet, and just lay your head back. So you're kind of using the hands as a little bit of a shelf here so that you're not going too deep into a back bend, but you're providing yourself with a little support so that you can just let the head drop and be heavy. Take a deep breath in and out. Releasing out of this posture, taking any last little wiggles that you need before coming into our tabletop position. So go ahead and find your way with your knees below your hips, wrists below the shoulders. Inhale, arching the spine, gazing forward. And exhale, rounding and curling the spine as you tuck the belly in and drop the head. Inhale is an arching and opening up. Exhale is a curling and pulling in. Finding a couple more of these movements here. We're starting to warm up through the vertebra of the spine. And just taking note of how the body is now asking to change its movements, maybe taking some back and forth presses, alternating between a child's pose and rolling forward and back. Potentially some big sweeping hip circles in one direction, rotating your pelvic bowl. And then in the opposite direction, finding that same motion through the hips. And this is a great opportunity to kind of tap into the fluidity of the body. So when you're a little kid, you just kind of move without any judgment. You're so free, and we can still tap into that. You just got to let that judgment kind of fly away. Just let it flutter away, eventually sinking down into a child's pose, taking a deep breath in and out. One more breath here. Coming all the way back up through center, finding a nice flat back. So that location right between your arch and your curl where the spine can be nice and flat. Go ahead and take those right toes and place them on the mat behind you. From here, find a couple back and forth presses, getting into the arch of the foot as well as right calf. Returning back to stillness and reaching that right heel up, but keeping the foot in line with the hip. So you want to make sure that that leg isn't going up too far. You want to keep it right in line with that hip. And perhaps in this pose, that left arm can reach forward as well, but know that it's not necessary here for your extended table. Inhale is a lengthening of the limbs. Exhale is a curling of the knee and possibly that elbow to the chest. Inhale, extend, use your core connection and glute muscle. Exhale, curl in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, stretch the limbs apart. And exhale, return to your table pose. Inhale, arching the spine, gazing forward. Exhale, curling and rounding. Returning back into your flat back here, your proper table pose, and then taking those left toes behind you and finding those back and forth presses with the toes on the ground. So we want to really stretch through the calf and arch of our foot. One side might be tighter than the other. Coming back to stillness, go ahead and reach that left heel up. Keep it in line with the hip. Maybe that right arm reaches forward. Inhale to your extended table, extend the limbs, and exhale, curl it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, extend the limbs, and exhale, return to your table pose. Drop the hips from left to right a couple times. Let's go ahead and find our first downward facing dog by tucking the toes under, lifting those hips up and back. Start to pedal out the feet, lifting one heel up at a time, keeping both toes on the earth. Making sure those hands are spread wide and the shoulders are pulling down and away from the ears. That way the neck can be a natural extension of your spine. Breathe deeply in and exhale it all the way. Let's continue to fire up our body here by finding some back and forth presses. Inhale is a hovering in your bent knee dog, hips pull up and back. Exhale is your plank pose. Inhale, pulling it back. Exhale, plank. Let's take 5 more here at your own breath pattern. Really engage through the thighs through this motion. So our plank pose is a full body workout. Everything should turn on as you enter your plank. Let's go ahead and hold in our plank here, and we'll run through our first version of chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, lower those knees to the ground and reestablish your connection to your core. Exhale, slowly lower with the elbows pointing back. Inhale for your low cobra. Bring the shoulder blades together and use that upper back and mid back strength to lift your chest. Tuck the chin and release. Let's find one more low cobra while we're here. Inhale, lift that chest up. Exhale, release. Make your way back to your table pose and then your downward facing dog. Breathe it in and let it go. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or hop your way to the front of your mat, forward folds. Take a moment here with a deep bend in your knees, in your forward fold, and let yourself hang here. It might also feel really nice to place the forearms on top of the thighs so that you're a little bit more supported through your lower back. Wherever you are, Shake the head, yes and no. Open and close your jaw to release all of that tension through your face. So there's even muscles in our face that are always kind of working. And this is a beautiful opportunity to bring attention into those muscles that can kind of relax. Inhale for your halfway lift, hands plant on shins. And exhale, forward folds. Inhale, arms circle, sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart. I'd like to ground down here for a moment and find a little bit of a firing up of the legs. We're going to take some chair twists here. We've done this before, so I'm going to run through it nice and fast. Feet are hip distance apart. Inhale, arms circle, sweep up. With the exhale, sit into your chair as you bring the left arm forward, right arm back, twisting to the right. Inhale is your center. Exhale, twist to the left. Let's keep this moving. In and out. In, out. 10, 9, 8. Try to keep those heels into the ground. 6. Feel that fire starting to turn on. 4. 2. Last one, twist to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, sit into your center chair. Hold this pose. Send those hips back. Feel that weight transfer into the heels. Bring your hands to the outsides of your knees. And I want you to press the hands into your knees and knees press back into your hands. Notice how that fires up the outer edges of your glutes and thighs. Breathe here. And exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Wow. Now we are feeling nice and warmed up here. Breathe in and out in this forward fold. Notice the blood movement in the legs. Maybe starting to feel that heat with me as well. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands plant, step or hop back to your plank pose. Breathe here. Hold for the exhale. One more inhale. With the exhale, lowering halfway or finding the knees on the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog or your low cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe it in. Let it go. Inhale, right leg reaches up to the sky. Exhale, curl right knee in towards the chest. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, curl knee into the chest. Step to your runner's lunge. From your runner's lunge, visiting your hovering lunge by reaching that chest up off of right thigh, pulling the arms back. So you're getting this contrast of the arms reaching back and crown reaching forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, arms reach up, find your crescent lunge, and then relax the arms into goalpost arms. So in your crescent lunge, you want to make sure the feet are hip distance apart, and you want to bring a slight bend into that back left knee so that you're not arching your spine, but you want to keep those hips stacked below shoulders. With your inhale, go ahead and extend those arms and legs up. With your exhale, take a slow and controlled elevator dip down. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, dip. 3 more. Inhale, arms reach up. And with the exhale, returning back into that hovering runner's lunge, arms reach back. From here, we're going to take flight, bring that weight into the right foot. Start to pick those left toes up off the ground. Warrior 3. Keep left toes flexed. Engage through left glute. Keep a micro bend in the right knee. Pull that chest forward. Inhale. With the exhale, start to pull that left knee in towards the chest. Interlace fingers behind or on left shin and just rotate that ankle in your standing wind relieving posture, pulling the knee in towards the chest. And then go ahead and land left foot next to right. Inhale, arms circle, sweep up. And with the exhale, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. With the exhale, go ahead and keep that left foot where it is, but send right foot behind you in a runner's lunge. Taking your right hand onto your block and twisting open to your left. So you're using that left arm to open up, finding that twist. We're trying to allow this twist to be felt from the spine rather than from the hip. So go ahead and keep that right hip stacked with left, or level with left rather. Inhale, twist. And exhale, coming out of this pose. Both hands plant on the ground. Let's send left leg up and back for a 3-leg dog. And then open up the hip by bending the left knee and dropping left heel over towards the right glute. Try to reach that left knee up towards the sky as you inhale. With the exhale, square the hips, find your 3-leg dog, either choosing to come back to your downward facing dog or finding a 3-legged plank. So hinging your weight forward, keeping that left leg extended. Inhale and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. Now we are feeling really warm. Let's go ahead and find that sequence on the other side. So inhale, left leg sweeps up to the sky. Exhale, curling left knee in towards the chest. Inhale, sweep it back up. Exhale, left knee in towards the chest. Find your runner's lunge. From here, find your runner's lunge. Hover by starting to peel that chest up off of the left thigh and extend those arms long behind you with the palms facing down. Find that contrast, crown of the head, upper body reaching forward, the back of the right leg and the hands reaching for the back of the mat. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, rise to your crescent lunge, and then relax the arms into goalpost arms. Make sure you're set up in your crescent lunge. So make sure the feet are hip distance apart. Bend in that back right knee just a touch so that you kind of eliminate that arching of the spine. Inhale, arms and legs extend. Exhale, dip it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, return to your crescent lunge, arms reach up. And with the exhale, returning back to your hover, arms pull back, crown reaches forward. Choosing to stay here or finding that warrior 3 as you transfer your weight into the left leg, right toes pick up off the ground. So what do we always say in this posture? Flex that flying foot. Keep a bend in that standing leg. Arms pull back, chest lifts. Go ahead and slowly bring that right knee in towards the chest. Interlace the fingers on the shin and find your standing wind relieving posture. Rotating at that right ankle maybe as you pull the knee in towards the body. And releasing out of this pose, go ahead and shake up the legs. Take a minute here. Maybe you find a quick drink of water before we continue. I hope you guys are starting to take layers off like I am. We got warm now. All right, coming to the top of your mat. If you're not already there, hip distance apart. Inhale, circle sweep, arms reach up. Exhale, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Inhale is a halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant. Keep that right foot exactly where it is, but step left foot back. Find a runner's lunge. Bringing the left fingertips on your block and finding your twist to the right by reaching the right arm up to the sky, using that left rib cage to twist you rather than that left hip. Try to keep the hip square with right. Inhale and exhale. Make sure that right heel is actively pressing into the ground. Last big breath. And returning back to center. Hands plant on the ground. Right leg reaches up and back. 3-leg dog. Choosing to open up your hip here by dialing that right heel over towards the left side of your room. Reaching right knee up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, coming back to that 3-leg dog, choosing to return back to your downward facing dog or coming into a 3-legged plank. So hinging the chest forward, right leg stays lifted. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe it in. Let it go. Again, inhale and exhale. One more breath here. Inhale, right leg reaches up towards the sky. Exhale, curl the knee in towards the chest. Step to your runner's lunge for a moment. Then dial left heel down and open up to your warrior two posture. So in your warrior two, it's going to take a minute for you to find the right placement for your feet. So know that in your yoga class, your feet are never in cement. You can always move and readjust. The basis of this posture is the right toes are facing the front of the room. Back edge of the left foot is pressing towards the back of the room. Right knee stacks with right ankle so that you're not putting too much pressure on that joint. Make sure those hips are stacked below the shoulders, and then you can open up the arms and hold here. Imagine as if you're ripping the mat apart with those feet. There's so much energy in the bottom half of your body. Inhale, flip right palm, reverse your warrior. And exhale, extend your warrior, holding here. Feel that energy in the right heel pressing down. Notice that big lengthening from the right foot all the way up to the, left foot all the way up to the left fingertips. Use those obliques, those abdominals to keep you lifted. Notice if that left hip is starting to roll forward, try to press it back as if you're pressing your glutes and your shoulders into a wall behind you. And inhale, return back to your warrior two. We're going to come into our balancing half moon. So in order to do that, make sure you have your prop about 6 inches in front of the right toes. And that's going to be our anchor. That's where we're going to start by bringing our right fingertips towards the block, transferring the weight into the right leg, and then extending left leg with a flexed foot. So the difference between this and our warrior three is that now our hips and chest are open to the side of the room. This is a very challenging posture. It becomes a little bit easier once you can rely on your abdominals and the strength in the legs to stay lifted. So squeeze everything here. Breathe in, relax the face. One more breath. Hold with me. Beautiful. Returning back to your warrior two. Extending the right leg, bringing the toes in. Finding a wide-legged stance here, opening your arms and chest. And exhale, hinging forward in a wide leg forward fold. We'll be here for several breaths. Start by rocking the hips from left to right if that feels okay. We'll find a Skandasana on the left side. So go ahead and bend left knee and drop the hips down. So there's a couple options here. This is a pretty intense stretch. So if you're not as open through your hips and hamstrings, this might look a little bit more like this, taking that left forearm on top of left thigh and having the hips lifted. It might also mean that you take that block and you place it underneath your tush as a little seat. Wherever you are is going to be perfect for your body because we're listening to those sensations and understanding how our body works here. So if yoga is new to you, I recommend that you get an okay from your doctor and make sure that your body is ready for this practice. Turning back into our runner's lunge. So now we're at the back of our mat on the left side. So that left foot is forward, runner's lunge. Hands plant, go ahead and step back to your plank pose. You might also choose to keep that left leg lifted in that three-legged plank once again. Inhale here. Stay for the exhale. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now we get to take that to the other side. Inhale, left toes sweep up to the sky. Exhale, left knee to chest. Stepping to your runner's lunge. So bring that left foot in front of you. Dial the back right heel down and open up to your warrior two. Again, once you're there, find this posture. It's okay to move. It's okay to change the dynamics of your body. The basis of this posture is those left toes forward, left knee stacking with ankle, and the back edge of that right foot pressing towards the back of the mat. So a lot of times we repeat our cues. And the reason why we do that is because it is ingrained in our body to go into our patterns, right? So we want to find that location where our body kind of always goes. But sometimes you'll hear a cue and all of a sudden it will click. So that's kind of why we do that. We're instilling these good patterns for our body. Inhale, flip left palm, reverse your warrior. And with the exhale, find your side angle posture by bringing the left wrist towards inner left thigh. Now, this is a pretty intense pose. We're using the lower body to really press into the ground, and that upper body, those abdominals, are engaging, keeping us lifted. Notice if that right hip started to kind of press forward, and imagine both hips are pressing a wall behind you. Last big breath here. Returning back to your warrior two, and then checking in, making sure that that prop is about 6 inches in front of the left toes this time. And we'll find our balancing half moon on the other side. So that block or prop is an anchor where you're going to start to bring your attention, bring those left fingertips onto the block, and then let that right leg extend long behind you with a flexed foot. So we're only using that prop as a guide. We're not dumping all of our weight in there. We're using our inner strength to keep us lifted. Breathe in and out. Try to rotate that left hip forward and left rib. And release back to your warrior two. Extend that left leg long, finding your wide legged position. And this time we'll take those hands and either interlace them behind the lower back or simply place them on top of the lower back or tush. Open up your chest and throat and heart. And exhale, hinging slowly forward. So if those arms are interlaced, you're going to try to rub the knuckles up against the sky. So you don't want to bring those knuckles behind the head. You want to really lengthen the arms up towards the sky, directly up. Breathe in and out. Come back to your breath. Releasing those fingertips down and then rocking the hips from left to right a couple times. And then finding your Skandasana on the right side. So we're bending into the right knee, sitting the hips down. Again, this posture has several layers. You might be a little bit more lifted, having that right forearm as your little bit of support on the thigh, or placing a block underneath the tush that you can sit on it. Enjoy your Skandasana. Breathe deeply in and deeply exhale, getting that pretty deep stretch through the left hamstring and inner thigh there. And it's okay to give yourself self-adjustments too. I'm always touching myself, making sure that my muscles are nice and relaxed. Sometimes taking my hands and using them as a little bit of pressure to remind my body where to go. And transitioning into your runner's lunge on the right side. So now we're back at the front of our mat. That right foot is grounded into the earth, hands plant, stepping back to your plank pose. Maybe you keep that right leg lifted, three-legged plank. Breathe in. Stay for the exhale. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe it in and out. Inhale, bending the knees, gazing forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. I'd like to visit a deep squat here in our Malasana pose. So in order to do that, make sure the feet are hip distance apart, if not a little bit wider, like an inch or so wider. Toes are going to turn just slightly outward so the heels can be in. Just go ahead and sit down into your squat. So a couple options here might be coming into a squat that looks more like this. Bringing the forearms on top of the thighs and just sitting those hips back. It might also mean that you take a block and you sit down onto it. So the same way that we were doing that for our Skandasana pose, you might kind of choose to sit on a block. If your hips will allow it and this feels nice, you're going to sit all the way down and you're going to keep your thighs active enough so that you're not dumping all of your weight into your hip flexors. I personally like to bring my hands into a prayer position and then take my elbows and press my knees away from each other. This is a pretty intense pose, so if it's not working for you, you can always sit on the ground and find a wide-legged position. And this is also a great location where you can go into a arm balance if you have a crow pose or crane pose in your practice. And for those of you who are looking for a little bit of guidance, I did do a crow pose demonstration on one of our pre-recorded videos. But if you're looking for just a quick little taste of it right now, the best way to get into and out of your crow pose is bringing your hands pretty far forward so that you have a little bit of momentum on your side. And most people like to kind of hug their knees on top of the upper arms. I personally like to bring my knees right below my armpits so that my arms are a little bit of a ledge. Bring your attention forward. So you really want to start to hinge forward rather than upwards. And then maybe those toes lift. All right, enough play, right? Let's go ahead and sit down onto our bums. Extend those legs forward and give them a good shake. And we'll find our core work here in our boat pose. So destination number 1 in your boat is simply bringing the soles of the feet onto the ground, hooking the hands behind the thighs, and sitting back into your sacrum. Notice how I'm not curling my spine like this, right? This is just kind of like bleh. What I want to do is stay active, no bleh, right? So I'm keeping my chest lifted. Destination number 2 might be lifting those legs up. Maybe you get to remove those fingertips from behind the thighs and reach the fingertips forward. The progression of this posture is going to be pulling the knees and chest towards one another, and with the exhale, extending the legs and chest away from each other. Inhale to center. Exhale, bring the hands to heart, twist right. Center, twist left. Center, knees and chest in. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Let's go a little faster here. Inhale, in. Exhale, out. Inhale, in. Exhale, twist. In and twist. Pull in, extend, pull in, twist right, twist left. Pull in, extend, pull in, twist right, twist left. 5, 3, or 4. I want it to be over just as bad as you guys. 3, 2. So find your own rhythm here. You might not be going as fast or as slow. Last one, extend and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release all the way to the ground. Pull the arms up overhead, legs towards the back of your mat, taking this full body stretch here. Bringing the knees in towards the chest, give yourself a squeeze. Maybe a gentle swaying from side to side. And then taking the hands on top of the knees and just rolling the knees into the chest and away from the chest. And switching directions. Keeping the right knee pulled in towards the chest. Extend left leg down the mat. Breathe in and out. Finding this wind relieving posture here. Enjoying the sensations. And then interlacing the hands behind right thigh and just bending and extending that right leg a couple times. So for those of you who tuned in yesterday's class, we did a bunch of strap work at the end of our practice. And that's something that you can fit in at any time. And it's always a good idea to find a hamstring stretch. Let's go ahead and release right leg down your mat. Pull left knee in towards the chest, finding your wind relieving pose, giving yourself a big squeeze here. Interlacing the hands behind left thigh and bending and extending a couple times, finding that deep hamstring stretch. And then lengthening left leg down the mat, finding another full body stretch, reaching the arms up overhead. And then taking the knees in towards the chest and letting the feet land on the ground. Taking right ankle and stacking it over left thigh. And then if you like, you might choose to sway from side to side here. You might also choose that you're looking for a little bit of a deeper stretch. And in that case, you're going to interlace your hands behind left thigh and pull the shape in towards the chest. Just make sure that when you do this, you don't start to pick that lower back up off the ground. I want you to try to keep a nice long spine. So that means that you're going to keep that lower back pressing into the earth and allow this stretch to come from that right hip flexor. Bringing left foot back to the ground, opening the arms up to a T, and then dropping the shape over towards the right. You might decide that once you come into this spinal twist that you don't really like the sensation of that right ankle over left thigh. Just go ahead and remove it. Take whatever version of a reclining twist that you feel most comfortable in. The importance of these last postures are those exhales. So, those exhales, you want to soften every fiber of your being. Coming back to center, planting both feet on the ground once again, and then taking left ankle over right. Find those side to side movements. If you'd like to go a little deeper, interlace the hands behind right thigh and pull the shape in towards the chest. Keep that lower back on the earth. Some deep breaths here. Bringing that right foot back to the ground and then dropping the knees over towards the left. And the same rules apply here. You can either keep that left ankle on top of right thigh or remove it as you soften into your reclining twist. Coming back to center and taking any last posture that you like, maybe a waterfall, extending the legs up, or a happy baby, grabbing on to the soles of the feet and pulling the knees towards the armpits. Just take the last 3 breaths to move in any manner that feels right and allow that to turn into your final resting posture when your body is ready. Eventually, you'll find your way into that final resting posture. And take a nice deep breath in and let it go. This time, as you inhale, imagine the oxygen moving into the body. And exhale, every bit of tension just releases into the earth. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. I'm taking a deep breath in and letting go. Again, inhale and exhale. Slowly start to return back to center. If you so choose, bringing yourself back up into your seated position. Once again, planting the palms over your heart. Imagining the presence and support of all of us in a big circle. We're all back to back, leaning on one another. Using the support of others to keep you lifted, and also staying lifted so that you can in turn support others. And we'll seal our practice in with this collective vibration that we create as this container, as this holding space. And as we Om, I want you to really tune into the vibration being experienced and the presence of everyone together. Start with a cleansing breath. And for our powerful Om, breathe in. Om. Thank you all so much for joining us once again for a live yoga flow. In the strength within me bows to the strength within you. May we all together lean on each other. Thank you all for joining us, and namaste. And tomorrow morning, we have our beautiful Deba Mitra coming in for our Barkin series. So we're going to be excited to see you guys all there. Grab your mat, grab your water, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.